So I've come out this evening to explore another woodland area. It's been really sunny all day, but as the evening has arrived, it's probably about 6:30 at the moment, the clouds have arrived, the sun has went behind them, so we're getting some fairly decent diffused light at the moment. So I'm just keeping my eyes open for anything that catches my interest. Quite a nice looking woodland. My only concern is the light. I'm actually walking along the edge of the woodland at the moment, where the sun being to my left is getting most of the nice light. So I'm going to have a look around and see if I can find anything interesting that catches my eye. So I've been exploring the woodland, and due to the sun's position, as I expected, once you go into the woodland it's quite dense and there's not much sunlight getting there. So there's no real interesting compositions there at this point in time. However, by keeping my attention to the outskirts of the woodland where the sun is casting some nice diffused light on, I've got an interesting composition here. So as I was walking past, there's a tree behind me which I'll show you in just a second. Its shape interests me, and there's actually something growing on it. It could well be ivy that's growing up in it, I'm not 100% sure on that. But I really like the look of it, and it was all a case of waiting till the sun came out to try and cast some nice evening light on this scene. And I've been fortunate enough to capture it in those conditions. So I'll take you over and have a closer look. So it's this tree just behind me here which has caught my attention. I also really like the small blue flowers underneath it. I think it gives it a nice interesting splash of colour. And it's all about subtle camera movements, getting my camera into the position which I feel frames the shot best. What I've chosen to do here is use this tree here as a frame on the right hand side, and there's a tree just over here at my left which I'm using as the left hand side of the frame. They both lean inwards and frame this tree rather nicely. So I've put it more or less in the centre of the image and these two trees at the side. Also, what I've had to be careful of in this composition, I didn't want to include any of these three trees over here to the left. I only wanted this one here. So I'll give you a quick look at that just now. So that shot is now captured. I'm really happy with it. I've got some nice framing, I've been lucky enough to catch some evening diffused light, and there's some nice splashes of colour at the bottom of the tree as well. So that's going to be it from me from this particular location today. It's somewhere I may return to at another time. I've spotted a few compositions that I quite like, but the sun needs to be in different positions of the sky to make them look their best. Now the sun is dropped behind some rather tall trees, so I'm not going to get the best lighting for this particular woodland. But it's an approach I quite often adopt in photography. I've talked about it in previous vlogs. I tend to go home with quite a small number of images when I go somewhere, and I tend to be quite happy with them rather than taking maybe 10 images that I just think are average. But it's also a very good approach in woodland photography, just taking your time slowing down. In this case here, I've spent most of my time looking around for compositions until I found one that I liked, the one behind me. Then it's a case of fine-tuning my position, left, right, up, down, closer to the subject and further away, to get it looking the way I want it. I took a few test shots, made sure I was happy with my position, the composition, the focal length I was using. Then I set up my tripod in that particular spot just to get the best image that I could and wait for the light. Lighting is very important as well. In this case I waited for the sun to move around until it was pretty much behind my back, shining onto this image very softly, diffuse light, and it just lit it up rather nicely. So taking your time and fine-tuning your composition is always good, but I find it quite effective in woodland photography. But I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you haven't subscribed and would like to see more, then please feel free to subscribe. But it's bye for now, and I'll hopefully see you in my next vlog.